sounded very analog, Dom.
Thank you so much.
So we're here again. We're here at Yamaha 45th synth anniversary, which is, well, in Hamamatsu, which is kind of the mothership we're at. And Dom Sigala here is showing us, this is new firmware for the Montage and
yes,
MODX,
it is.
Right?
Yes, it is. We have a new firmware for the Montage. So we have V3 for Montage and V2 for the MODX, and they share pretty much the same features.
So what were we? That demonstrated something, but I'm not sure what it was, apart from it sounded nice.
This was one of the new performances. So basically, this is one performance that demonstrates the extended LFO, which is one of the new synth features, because this update has quite a few new synth features that, you know, synth enthusiasts will really like. And basically, what happens with this sound is that we use the extended LFO, and the LFO speed is incredibly slow. So you can emulate this kind of drift of
like
the
30 years.
Exactly.
30 years
Yeah,
vintage.
I have something else to show you that you can detune it so much that sounds completely aleatoric at some point. But basically, there's no chorus in this sound. I'm going to start with the first scene. And it's just one part. And all this kind of chorusing effect is because of the two basically oscillators or elements are moving apart.
I mean, it sounds very CS-like. I mean, let's not beat around the bush.
That's a good description.
I think that's probably what you were going for, right?
I think so, yeah. But you can basically go to scene 3. I'm adding another one. And then, of course, on the other side, we can go super fast to the point where you can't really hear the...
So the extended range is the extremes of the...
Exactly. So you can turn it on and off if you want to. So if you want to keep working, you can just go into the element page and you can basically turn it on and off. So let's go to my LFO like that. So have extended LFO. And I can turn it on and off. Now, of course, between the normal range, it still exists between the the extremes, but it's still there if you want to keep it in, you know, kind of a manageable.
It'll go into audio rate. Do you happen to know how fast it goes up?
I'm not sure, to be honest with you.
That sounds quite high, doesn't it?
Super high.
Almost into ring mode.
Yeah. Now, the great thing is, this is an AWM2 sound, okay, but this can also work with the FMX engine.
Right, okay.
So exactly the same thing. This is an FM sound, no samples, so let me show you how this works here. That
must be feedback.
This is just the controlling the elements, the operators basically, as well as this. This is just the level of the operators.
Okay.
But now I'm going to show you the LFO depth. Now I have a very... You can hear them detuning a little bit. But now, so if you go like this, change the LFO depth.
It's horror story, isn't it?
Exactly,
Horror film.
Exactly.
Something bad's going to happen, Dom. I don't know what it is.
The thing is, you can do this with any sample that you have in there. You know, with choirs if you're into film music, but it works with the FMX engine as well. So it's really powerful. You can create sounds that you couldn't create before with the Montage and the MODX. So it's a really powerful feature. Now the other thing that we have is we have two new effects. So we have a new mini filter.
Right, so it's like an emulation, right? Of a
very famous
ladder filter, presumably.
Yeah, exactly. And basically, it's a VCM effect, which means, you know, it uses the VCM technology.
VCM is component model stuff, isn't it? I mean, it's,
exactly. So it's really, really, you know, close modeling of the actual thing. And it sounds like this. So if you close it, by the way, you don't hear anything. It goes
totally
that much. Yeah. And then, of course, you can have... I mean, the resonance can be really lethal if you want to. It's kind of... That's some reverb, for example. you go all the way up, it starts kind of
Self-oscillate.
self-oscillate.
I think we might crack some glass in here with that.
I know. Yeah. So be careful with that. But basically, this is how you do it. And also, you can, of course, automate this using the motion sequencer. Like everything.
So does it have drive level and stuff as well, or is it a fixed?
I can show you exactly how it looks like. Basically, you go into the effects section because maybe, this might be a little bit weird, but you can find this on the effects section.
Right,
so
okay.
let me show you how. Let's go like this. And if I go to my VCM mini filter, I have low pass, I also have high pass, and I have the cutoff, my resonance, and there are a couple of textures. You have retro, standard, and modern. You also have a dry wet, which is really useful sometimes.
Right.
So this is where you find everything. And of course, if you want to automate something or assign it to the super knob, you want to go control assign, move your control.
There it goes.
There you go.
And there go the speakers.
Yes, I hope we don't have any dogs nearby, but yeah, this is how it works. And the second effects, we also have another version of this, which is like a shelving. It's a filter boost. And the third one is the wavefolder. So it's like a wavefolding distortion. Extremely useful as well. I mean, I use it on these drums, for example. Oh, yeah. So that's dry. And this one you can use, of course, for everything, but it has quite a few interesting parameters as well. So let me show you. Go to Effects, and we go to our wavefolder. So we have our fold type, hard and soft. We have our fold parameter right there. LFO speed, so you can actually have nice variations with it. You have an LFO shape, and you have a sequencer. So you can change the depth of the sequencer. You can have different patterns for the sequencer. Yeah, it's pretty deep. So I'm not sure how deep people will go into this, but it's a very, very versatile effect if you really want to use it and get in depth with it. And we have quite a few different performances. For example, this one uses both the mini filter and it also uses the wavefolder. So basically you can go and the second one is basically a parallel channel, and you get the wavefolder without losing the subs though.
So you just bring it in.
Exactly.
So are these new effects available on live inputs as well?
Absolutely, absolutely. So it's great if you want to have like a vocal, maybe a guitar. I use this combination for guitars if you want to create some really...
Well, because I heard you talking earlier, just sort of while we were hanging out, and you were talking about how if somebody needed a reverb, it's like, well, why don't you just feed it through the the montage, the internal effects.
Exactly.
You can process via what, USB streaming?
Exactly.
Or
exactly. Yeah. Some synths that I have, for example, they don't have great reverbs on board, so I just run them through the inputs, and I use the DSPs from the Montage or the MODX.
Right.
Or some don't have reverbs at all, like.
And can you do the same? Can you feed audio in via USB on this as well, or is it just purely the extra?
You can do it using the inputs.
Right, so you'd be the analog input.
So it's analog, and you can do mono stereo.
Right, okay, got you.
And then it goes out. You can, of course, route it however you want inside the mixer. There's a lot of kind of routing flexibility when it comes to the mixer because, it's quite extensive. It's a digital mixer, basically.
Yeah. So is there more to the to this update?
Yes.
Than this?
yes. I mean, these are for me, they're really interesting because they're like really,
synth parameters,
synth features. But of course, there's another one for people that want to do micro-tuning. So now you can actually have global micro-tuning.
Right.
That was a big request because some people wanted to turn on the instrument and have like, I don't know, an Arabic scale.
Right.
And when they were switching a preset, then they would have to do the micro-tuning or save the performances with the micro-tuning. Now you can have a global micro-tuning if you want to.
Okay, so yeah.
And the other thing that's really, that was a big request is now we have a pattern sequencer in the Montage and the MODX, which means you can start building loops very, very quickly. You can create songs. It's a sequencer, so basically if I Sorry. Yep.
I think I was just going to say we saw Mike Patrick doing some stuff.
That was incredible. Yeah. It's really fast. I'll show you how it works. Basically, let me show you. I'll go to. Let's find a drum kit. So I go record. I can have a quantize if I want to, and then I can do 3, 4. And then select another instrument, maybe record some bass. Another one now.
Right, so build up whole.
And then of course you can overdub if you want. So if you want to play the drums like just first the kick drum, then the snare.
So you can create like a scratch pad, and then can you transfer this stuff into the DAW?
Yes,
it's MIDI data presumably.
Yes,
right?
Because you can also create after you've done all this, you can chain them, create a song, and then of course if you use like a DAW, especially with Cubase, you can drag and drop.
It's really funny, isn't it, the way that the kind of cycles go? Because it's like, oh man, sequencer on workstations, there's no point in having that. Everybody does it in the DAW. It's like, hey man, where's the sequencer?
I know. I mean, to be honest with you, I didn't really miss it personally, but this is, a really good addition, and I know that many people really wanted that. Right. So it's great that you have it there, because now you can actually create a song very, very quickly, and like Mike did, like you said, you can create amazing things with it. Yeah,
well, you have to watch the live stream, which is going to be out by the time you watch this, so you can see that. So what version is this of the software, did you say?
This is version 3, right. And for the MODX, it's version 2.
And is there the same features in the MODX?
Same features, exactly the
including
same
the pattern sequencer?
Exactly.
Oh, right.
Actually, there's one hidden thing on the Montage that you might not see it immediately when you download the update, but the MODX has this rhythm pattern where you can actually select a performance, just press the rhythm button, and then you have immediately like drum, percussion, and all these things. That wasn't available in the Montage. Now, if you want to do this, you just go Shift, Control Assign, because the Montage, hardware-wise, it doesn't have that specific button, but it's there. So now I can select like a drum kit, and I have, a nice drum loop to play too.
Right. Oh, okay.
So that's like a hidden thing, which you will not see if you don't know how to.
I'm sure you'll show it in a video somewhere, right?
Yeah, we'll probably, absolutely.
So is this free or paid update?
It's a free update for all users, and it's going to be available on the 23rd of September. So probably by the time you see that, it's going to be out already.
Thank you very much, Dom.
Thanks so much, Nick. Always a pleasure.
See you next time. Bye.